Our first guest on the Rise is the wonderful and fantastic and very interesting Vera Sola. Welcome to On the Rise. It's a pleasure to have you. How are you today?
I'm pretty wonderful. How are you?
You know what? That's a great answer. I
Yeah.
feel just as wonderful. Really stoked to speak to you today about your album, Peacemaker. Tell me about the title because it's very intriguing to me.
Yeah, so it's very complex, as everything is that I do. It has many layers. And that's why I came to it. The center of this record when I was making it was always this song called Instrument of War. And it was the first song that I wrote for this record. And really, in many people's opinions, like the best song that I ever wrote. And so I built this world around this one song. It's the sonic center, it's the thematic center of this record. And so I thought maybe I would call it Instrument of War. But as I sat with that over the years that it took to release this record, I realized I didn't want to lead with that. I didn't want to lead with a prayer to war, which is what it is. And especially as I changed in the course of the making of this record and the releasing of this record, and really anchored myself in my righteous anger at the world, at things that had happened to me, at the things that I witnessed in the world, at the violence, at the suffering, at the pain, and began to transmute it. I realized this wasn't a record about war, but I still had to have that in there. And I was in meditation one day, and the word peacemaker kind of fell out of the sky. And it felt perfect, because to me, the peacemaker is the Colt 45 single action army. It's the original American instrument of war, the gun that quote unquote conquered the American West, that caused all of this violence and all of this rending that would lead us to the place that we are today in America. Just the decimation of the native peoples and the land. So it's this image of violence that's wrapped in this beautiful word. That, to me, got to the core of what I do with my music, ultimately, is I kind of move into the darkness and witness it and hold it and take accountability for it, and then try to wrap it again in the beauty of the music. And in that process, try to reclaim it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one side of it. And then the other side of it is just like I was saying before, is that in the process of making this record, I really began to make peace with parts of myself that had caused me pain, things that had happened to me that had caused me pain, people I was that had caused pain to others and harm to others, and also make peace with the people in my life who had caused suffering. And I became that peacemaker. So it is all things, It's the beauty and the violence and the prayer and the surrender.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I like the idea that being a peacemaker doesn't mean that you eradicate one thing over the other. It just means that you have space for both. I've read many places that writing lyrics was something that perhaps didn't come as natural to you as other things. And it's been perhaps a bit elusive in previous years. But Peacemaker is the first album with more of your vulnerabilities coming through with lyrics. And I'm wondering, what was the key that unlocked lyric writing for you?
Well, lyrics actually are way easier than the music for me, but it came to me through other things. Writing is easy for me. It's not even so much that lyrics are hard for me as it is that I can't dictate when they come. If I sit down to write, nothing might come out. I mean, it could be years. I tend to overwrite, so that's a part of it too, is trimming back the fat. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. I really love how you think about music, and your creative process is really inspiring and very intriguing. I can tell just by, your energy that you are someone who has music flowing through you, but it's really tangible on your recordings. And, that's not easy to do. So I just really want to congratulate you on such a beautiful and moving piece of art. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
From the album Peacemaker, this is Vera Sola in at number 13 this week. This is the song Get Wise.